Hi guys, this is Jane Hatch, Bethesda Star, Shamanic Healer. The last time I made a video was about a year ago because I couldn't quite decide if I was going to take a spiritual route or a journalistic, because I'm also a journalist. But I decided that my expertise right now in my life is really the spiritual aspect of healing and shamanism and targeting. And there's a lot of other people covering the journalism side. And I also believe that the spiritual side is equally as important when you're talking about targeting, because you're put into positions where you're vulnerable, where you meet the wrong person, where you get involved in the wrong situation, where you're traveling to places you shouldn't go. People around you are making choices that are detrimental for you. Um, People are turning against you, and on and on and on, because of the satanic influence behind human targeting. So let's say they want you. Well, the main one of the main goals is to completely destabilize you financially, spiritually, um, economically, emotionally. So not only are they going to, for many of us, deploy weapons to the truth tellers, activists, dissidents, but the other aspect of it is gang stalking, and a very big part of that is Satanism. So how do they do that? Well, the same way, except the opposite of the light workers. The light workers will pray, send love, surround you with helping spirits and loving and compassionate power animals. Whereas the opposite happens in Satanism. They will send negative spirits, and I don't have to name them all, there's names for them, and they each have a purpose. And if you have any weakness at all in your energy field, or any addiction, or any low vibrational people around you, your partner, work, there's going to be a hole in your energy field, especially if you're abusing any kind of drugs or alcohol or relationship. It creates a hole in your energy field, and they find that, and they work on those. There's threads, in the web of life, and they go out from every time a thought or an emotion, positive or negative, it goes out into the universe. And people who understand this can work it either for your betterment or the reverse. So they will actually be able to pull you through, say you have, even if you have something as benign as low self-esteem or self-doubt. I used to think that I was safe from all this because I harm no one. I've always been a very loving and compassionate and caring person, and I thought that would create some sort of aura of protection. And it does to a certain extent. People who have good intentions have a lot of protection, and part of it is they pull it in from the universe. There's a lot of loving and compassionate spirit guides and spirits of the trees and flowers, and that will move in to protect a human being who has good intention. But you can create a hole in your energy field or vulnerability, like I said, by something as simple as self-doubt. Now that progresses, to huge holes in your energy field if you're doing drugs, or you're drunk, or you're in an abusive relationship, or you're abusing someone else. So they will work those threads. There's an opening, and they can get in, and they pull you into a situation, and they know your mind so well. They know your vulnerabilities. For me, it was like a spiritual man I thought would be great, and so they know that, and they pulled me into a very, very dangerous situation where actually the man had all the looks and the carriage and the habits of a spiritual person, but he was actually a demon, a true demon. And once you step into that, it takes a long time to get out. So they know if you have a vulnerability to black men, or you're vulnerability to rich men or, women or what, or, a certain look. They'll know what your look is, and they'll pull you in and find that person. And you're to a certain degree, you're losing self will, because they know what you want and they will put it in front of you as a trap. So once you're in that trap and you're with a person that is, then all of a sudden you find out they're a gang stalker, or they're a thief or something. So they've got all this low vibration. So everything's going to pour in on you. You're going to be positioned for more gang stalking. You're better positioned for more weapons attacks. So that's one way that they work. They will literally, meet in groups and do their, their thing. And whoever their target is, they'll put out an expectation and a desire for how that person, is going to end up. And, they could be doing, it's your death they're looking for, or confusion or doubt, or so. And the funny thing is, it doesn't feel like a curse. It feels like you're going to a pot of gold. So you have to be really, really careful if you're targeted, especially about what you're seeking and what your desires and what you're being led towards. You got to be very God-centered, and pray, like, is this the right person? Is this the right situation? And that can untangle the webs when you have like a spiritual center. You call in the highest beings, whatever that may be for you, Jesus Christ or Mary, or, for some of us, it's the goddess Isis. And you can actually ask them, is this in my best interest? And the more pull you feel, the more cautious you should be, because there's probably a person or a situation that's may somehow harm you. So that is that's just one slice of the spiritual aspect of targeting. And it happens to the high profile targets. I know it happened to Michael Jackson. I think he was targeted. He was definitely under a curse. He was positioned so at the end, all he had around him was evil. And the irony of that is someone that was beloved around the entire world by millions and millions of people. But that's how strong these curses can be. And his weakness was, he wanted to, and this doesn't even sound like a weakness, he wanted to provide for his children. He wanted to leave a legacy. He wanted a certain way to present himself. And so, those people around, oh, we'll do this for you, Michael. This will be the best venue. This will be you'll get this house in Vegas. And, in Michael's mind, because I researched him for a screenplay, I know quite a bit about him, at least for my own research. And, he was noble in his weakness. So he almost would do anything for his children. Unfortunately, it didn't serve his children, because he ended up with extremely evil, cruel, self-serving people around him at the very end. I also believe, he was poisoned slowly but surely. He was dehydrated, he was drugged. And I think Dr. Murray was a scapegoat. I think he had been drugged, and probably at the end there was directed energy weapons, because Michael had positioned himself to take control of half of Sonny and the Beatles music catalog. And within the music industry, the white male rulers kind of out there don't want Black men to be that free and prosperous. And also because, even more so, because Michael was sharing joy and love and passion and unity, and that was even more terrifying to them, is that he wanted to unite the world. And that's something they're very afraid of, that we finally figure out that all these issues of, abortion and the wall and on and on and on are just designed to, racism and sexism and sexual orientation are issues just to divide us. So yeah, I think he also was under a curse. In fact, in Latoya's book, Starting Over, She mentioned that they had a visitor who um, came in with some very strange objects, and they looked satanic, and Michael refused them, and then he left with one of Michael's gloves. And that's kind of in a very serious curse. They will have some of your DNA, and that's in almost anything you own that you use repeatedly. So that's another thing to keep in mind when you know, be careful about who you associate with, who you let into your house, always, no matter who you are. So my website is www.bethesdastar.com, BETHASDA star. And I'm offering shamanic healing classes this summer, and Reiki and flower essence making in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And one of my classes for shamanism is geared towards targeted individuals and how you can align with the spirits of nature, your ancestors, um, and other beings, loving and compassionate beings, um, for protection, for healing, and also to try to deconstruct some of this negative AI. So, love and blessings to all of you. And I'm going to try to keep doing this, and maybe with more of a plan. This was sort of a spur of the moment. So please leave comments, please like, please share, and lots of love to all of you.